Boom, let me try that. Can you hear me now? I can't see sound things registering from this one. Let me try this again. Okay, so you can see me on this. That one did not have sound on it when I first came on. So anyway, this is me, Hikosaemon. I am, boom, just setting things up a little bit, but good to see you all. As you can see, I've got a new on-screen graphic, which means that you can read it better, but you can barely see me, so I'll take that off in a second. But this is Tokyo Tonight, 11 PM every Sunday night. Good to see you all. Good to see the comments. Good number of comments on tonight. How is my sound? How is my sync? I'm thinking, you know, if the sync stuff gets too crazy, I'm just going to flip and go straight to onto the webcam version, which is here, which I will just adjust the alignment a little. But I can come back and forth, and you know, maybe this is more in sync. I'm kind of interested in that, and you know, the resolution isn't that different, although I do really like using my DSLR for that purpose. But yeah, who knows? Who knows? This is certainly a lot sharper. And that's what that stuff is. Well, it's part of what that's all about. So I am going to put this in front of me so I don't have to look off to the side to check. I'm going to say hello to you guys, and how are you all? It's been a crazy week. It's the start of Tsuyu. It is the start of rainy season in Japan. And it started off with a bang. We had like a week where there was this crazy kind of high pressure heat wave system that was like trapped over Japan. And during that period, we could not, the temperatures were midsummer temperatures, you know, which we were getting before the rainy season. But now that's moved along and we are in the rainy season, and we're having record rainfall in Japan. Very good to see everyone who's rocked in tonight. I can see that we've got lots of people. I've zoomed in a lot, but here we go. Got Razel Gul, Comical Rainers, come and said hello. Jordan Do, I know, has got a few questions for me. Razel Gul is back. There's Lacey, who sent me a fantastic article from Business Insider on how different cultures understand time that I read. I was really fascinated by, and that's going to be a topic I'm going to talk to. And 1884, Darth JF, Joseph Mulan, Big Boy 129, Travius H, talking about the Korea stuff, trying to get me in trouble. B-Boy Tripping, good to see you again. Alicia in Japan, always good to see you. Good question about Kyushu, actually, who Emily Louise Maitland, who's also there, might be a good person to answer. Austin Richardson, good to see you. And indeed, that luxury train looks crazy. I mean, if they actually make it like the designs, it'll be insane. Charlie Brown, you always good to see you. And indeed, as people who follow me on Facebook, and you're all welcome to follow me on Facebook, below the in the video information you can see all my Facebook and Twitter links. I'm mostly active on those two. And as people who follow those know me, I'm going to be going to Brisbane at the end of the year. Really annoying that I have to go by Korean Airlines, and they actually do have a direct flight which saves 4 hours if you go to the Gold Coast instead, but it costs like $1,700 more for my 3 family members to go than via Korea and Korean Air. And I resent going to Korea, not because I've got a big problem with Korea or anything like that, but you have to fly in the opposite direction for 2 hours, wait, get on a plane and come back, and then you fly over Tokyo as you go on your way to Australia, so you lose 5 hours going in the opposite direction. But it's cheaper, and it's about the same time loss as you get going through Sydney. So, you know, it is what it is. But yes, I was talking about that earlier, but yes, it means I will be going to Brisbane probably at the end of the year. Always pretty tough to meet with people. I always want to go and have some sort of a meetup or something like that, but you know, I'm there on a short trip with family, seeing relatives around Christmas. It's hard to do. It's hard to get around and say I'm going out for a few beers, but I'll aspire to do it this time. It looks like I'm planning to take a good break, maybe about 2 weeks. So I'd really like to get a day in. So we'll see if I can aim for that. I know that there are a bunch of people in Brisbane. Kantensai, good to see you every night. Konbanwa. Who else we got? We got a bunch of people anyway. The full crowd. Instead of waiting for the comments to update, I'm just going to refresh all the time, because I know that they always update when they don't appear to be. And this is something I'm going to hassle the people I know at YouTube because yeah, it makes it kind of a mess to keep up with. But yeah, they're really going to work on the commenting. But let's see, we've got Ahmed Zombias there, Russ Sun, good to see you as always. Alex Stratus, good to see you. Ahmed Zombia, yeah, Joe Casey, Saluki-san, Not in Japan. I'm sure I'm missing people here, but you know, that's what happens. It's good to see you all anyway. Good to have you come in. It's funny. Okay, so Nora in Japan. Good. Thanks for the feedback. So the sync is good at the moment. You know what? I think playing my intro clip interferes with the sync. I've noticed that it goes more out of sync when I play that, but I want to play that for the intro. So I'm going to try a trick. I'm going to try switching to the webcam thing and coming back, and it might just reset the stream. Who knows? I don't know. But all that good stuff. Ramsuk Gaijin, good to see you. Wow, it's a big crowd in there. By the way, everyone, you know, I don't like saying subscribe and like and all that stuff, but it is actually kind of nice. And I noticed, I mean, you know, Victor's all rock star and he won't start without 50 likes. And of course, I'll start with like 1 like and 10 dislikes. But it's always nice to have likes. So go and like if you like this every week. Let other people know that it's worth watching. And look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4 ODR. I don't know you, but good to have you here. Hello to you, Dan N. Good morning from Auckland. Rock on Auckland. Yeah, good to see you. Good to see some Kiwis in the place. Daniel B, good to see you. Kraurus. Aloha. Kia ora, mate. That's when I went to Hawaii, and I was really disappointed by Hawaii, I gotta say, because I come from a really Polynesian, very culture aware place, and I never appreciated till I went to Hawaii just how I don't know how eradicated the indigenous culture there is. It was kind of, you know, when I saw some shows which were a bit depressing. They made it look like, feel like a zoo exhibit. I mean, I grew up in schools learning Maori in school, and Hawaiian music and stuff is very familiar to my ear. You know, words and bits and pieces. You can hear the common origins with Maori and other Pacific Island languages, but yeah, I really love Hawaii, and I love Hawaiian culture. I don't know, I hope there can be some sort of a revival there. Like, indeed there had to be in New Zealand. I mean, it was almost gone in New Zealand as well. But big fan of Hawaii, so I hope you're all good. I got a bunch of news and stuff. As always, we've got lots of cool stuff to talk about, but I guess we're gonna get into the I'll do my 5-minute shows, and then we can talk about the very cool stuff that we have. I've put everything, by the way, there's a link immediately under the video, which is a link of the topics I've picked up, just stuff which I thought would be good to talk about in the video. I've also promoted my, I've got about 6 Flipboard magazines. There's one which just has everything, which is what I curate, and I read thousands of articles every week, and I sort out the most recommended stuff, but everything I recommend for any reason goes into the main one. In fact, I might show you that for a second. Yeah, we got time. So, boom. If I come over to the right side of the camera, yes, over here, and all of a sudden it looks darker because of that, so I'm going to light myself a bit better. This is where the webcam actually works really well, so you know what, I might just do that. I might switch to the webcam for a second, because I'm always brighter on this. I've got to fix the brightness control on the DSLR. Sorry if the sound is a bit different, but I'm experimenting. That's what I do. Definitely, it is much clearer on the DSLR, isn't it? Anyway, I've got these 5 magazines. So the first is Hikosaemon, this one, which is basically everything. And I reckon if you're interested in all the science and geeky stuff and YouTube stuff, as well as all the Japan stuff in Japanese and in English, this has everything. So that is one. This is all the Japanese content that I read that I recommend. It's all in the main Hikosaemon one, but these are all, I also say, mark everything that's just Japanese that I think is readable and fun, and most of the stuff is relatively easy to read. It's stuff which either I made, or it's from you know, Nichan aggregators. It's all like short comments and stuff like that. If you're studying Japanese and you want to find easily readable stuff, I think that's pretty good. Next is, if you're really just interested in the Japanese stuff that I talk about, there is a dedicated magazine of just no tech, no science, no YouTube, just Japan related articles, including stuff which I put up and other people put up, and that's my Japan Reading magazine. And you know, you can subscribe to these on Flipbook or Flipboard, or you can keep up with them on the web, and I update them every weekend with everything from the week, what I think is the most interesting reading. Likewise, Flip It Run, not just Japan. I mean, I love all the tech stuff, all the new gadgets, all the new science stuff. And I put it all into this YouTube and Tech magazine. I've got stuff just featuring my own content. You know, the 2.5 Oyajis, the Instagrams and stuff that I post. and so on. This is always, good for keeping up with my stuff. And of course the one which I post every night, which I've got the link for under this video, the video topics, which are the most special topics and stuff which I think are worth talking about with you guys in the video, which I think are conversational, which is what I put in there, and that's what I'm going to cover in my news segment. So you know what, I'm just thinking, the news comment stuff is not as good. The webcam is not as good quality, but it's guaranteed syncing. So boom, yeah, sound is way better on DSLR, people are saying. So I'm going to go back to DSLR. So I apologize for that failed experiment. So okay, so this says that the sound, the camera on the or the sound on the GH3 is better, which is a good thing probably, because I paid more money for it. Now I can hear myself. Why it's because whenever I refresh I have to stop the sound. So you know what, I'm just going to mute the computer so I don't hear myself buzzing. And then so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do what I've started doing each week. I'm going to record 2 4 to 5 minute shows. Boom. And then I am going to do the official parts. I'm going to do 4 or 5 minutes in Japanese, 4 or 5 minutes in English, and then I'm going to do the big talk show with you guys. So get ready for it. Boom. I guess I like the red one. The red one looks pretty. So let's do that. And here we go. So I guess I have to queue up the 2.5 Oyajis. No, not 2.5 Oyajis. The intro speed drum. Have this one ready. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Hey, so this is Hikosaemon here. Welcome once again. Every week, well, I record this live at 11 PM on Sundays, but of course I release this. This is the compressed 5-minute version of the best news of the week and interesting topics about Japan that I picked up, which goes live every Monday. There is a Japanese version also, which I released at the same time, which I try to subtitle. I think the last one I didn't subtitle quickly, but I'll subtitle it more quickly this week. But a little 5-minute summary of the most interesting stuff on the web. So without further ado, let me get into it. Boom. So these are the chosen video topics. As you already know, and in the links under the video, you can go and check out all the topics that I recommend, from which I save in different Flipboard magazines to make them more readable and nice, or more readable and nice. But the first one I've got here is, let's have a look at what we've got for the last week. The first one is a fantastic article which I just read before the show, which was recommended to me by Lacey. And it is an article on how different cultures perceive time. I think it's very insightful. It does have a special big section on Japan and how Japan perceives things. I'm going to talk about this at length after I've recorded the short version of the show, but it is interesting. It talks about how Americans, as opposed to Germans, as opposed to Italians, as opposed to Chinese or Thai or Japanese perceive time. And where it might be excusable to be late, or like with Japanese, it talks about the emphasis on ritual and formality in Japanese, which is absolutely true. And as a Protestant work ethic linear time person, I myself find it frustrating. I find little tricks for cutting through it because I'm so used to it. But indeed, the advice that it gives, that you have to go through these sort of motions for Japan, I agree with. I'd put it slightly different. They're very academic about it. My advice is just don't fuck it up, because the small things are really, really important in Japan, and they can derail everything more than you can realize, and that's really cool. It's very thought-provoking. I back up the insights given on the Japanese side. As much as I hate cultural generalism, or I immediately start saying reject, say it's wrong, but I think there's some validity to it, and I think it's really interesting. Another interesting article here I picked up, this is from Crocker, but it's talking about the newest Garu trend, which is neo gals, which is basically doing up here. Well, they've always been, rather than the kind of the dark tan and white hair and stuff like that and white makeup, there's this new kind of techno bleached hair kind of girl. I don't know, there are some pretty good looking examples of them there. Apparently Caroline knows 1 or 2 of the people who are in the photos that I featured here. Apparently that's going to be the next gal thing, which, like it or not, is coming. Suicide, there's been a few articles about suicide this week, which I'll come, yeah, there's been a drop in suicides, which is always good, but of course Japan still has a high rate. I think it's actually, there's so much emphasis on Japan, and where it is. But of course, as you can see, Japan doesn't have the highest suicide rate, and this is important to understand. In fact, my own country, New Zealand, has a higher youth suicide rate than Japan does. However, its suicide rate is high. It is related mainly to health problems, which is a shame, and it's something which I guess with the aging society is going to get worse. And it ties into the big overall demographic issues and challenges that Japan has, and so it's a topic that everyone follows. I'm going to come back a bit. So yeah, and Tofugu picks up this topic as well, and gives some good topics about things to bear in mind when talking about suicide in Japan. Fantastic list here. Not enough time to go through it on a 5-minute video, but I'm going to quickly cover it. Japan's 30 best travel destinations, which apparently TripAdvisor has taken a survey to find out which places people like the best. Perhaps unsurprisingly, the top 10 are dominated by locations in Kyoto. As you can see, Hiroshima also makes and not the war shrine, but actually Miyajima Island, which I visited in 1990, and it is awesome and highly recommended. I think it's fairly spot on. It brings home to me as well that I haven't traveled enough in Japan myself. Definitely Kyoto dominates. What is that? It's a robot, okay, which I haven't been to. I'm sorry, that caught my attention. Lots of stuff in Tokyo, of course, because Tokyo is awesome, and lots of places I still haven't been to. But a fantastic list of the best 30 places to go to in Japan, recommended by the travelers. So if you're planning a trip to Japan, here's a great place to look at. Some tech stuff I find super interesting. Of course, the Apple wearable watch is coming out, and it looks like it's going to have all indications are by the iOS 8. Stuff is that it's going to have a wraparound screen of some sort, which I think is kind of cool. And if it can really track on an ongoing basis something like pulse, depending on how many health metrics it can track at the same time, chances are I'm going to be shelling out for a new iPhone for this watch. I'm probably going to get it. I'm looking at these things lately, and I'm probably going to get a GM1 camera this year. So I've got some expensive shopping ahead that I have to prepare the ground for. SoftBank's released a robot. For some reason they got a French robot, not a Japanese one, but I don't know. I don't really know what you do with it at the moment, but I think that's Son trying to be innovative and help. The guy's been pretty good at picking trends, so it's probably a good sign. A little bit of political news that it looks like Maihara, who's a high flyer in the Democrat Party, which has just been bombing lately, it looks like he's going to come out and he's going to be joining up with the new entity that Hashimoto's Ishin-no-kai, the Japan Restoration Party, is probably going to make. So the opposition, which is a shambles right now in Japan, is looking to reform into a couple of new shapes. One into a far-right party with Tamogami and Ishihara, that's probably going to go nowhere. And another one formed by Democrat People's, your party, and Ishin-no-kai people. And it's going to be interesting if they do that right, because it's hopeless at the moment. I mean, Abe's going to have a cakewalk in the next election, and frankly I think he's doing an okay job, actually. Some Japanese stuff, increase in power harassment cases. Although the birth rate has increased to the highest level in 20 years, Japan still had the greatest number of deaths in 20 years. More people than ever on social welfare. Of course, that's going to go up again with the more people, on pensions and so on. So again, it makes you think. For me having a son, it's something for the future. It's hard to really see Japan's future as being that bright for kids, and I don't know. I hope something can be done about that. A fantastic video here about Japanese really like. It's a kind of a meme in Japanese films, where the old granddad flips out and literally flips over the coffee table, the chabudai. It's an expression of unleashing anger, and there's a great multi-cut which I've got a link to here from a bunch of different movies, Western and Japanese, of flipping over tables, which is pretty cool. Yeah, a great article again by Shisaku bringing up a point which I raised 2 months ago, that Abe, for all of his reputation of being an extreme right-winger, he's actually got a track record of being one of the most liberal PMs. He's got a pretty strong liberal track record as well, which I thought was interesting. So yeah, lots of cool stuff. Go and check that out in my flipboards. Go and read all the articles yourself. I think they're really cool. Lots of cool stuff happening in Japan at the moment. Lots of stuff to look forward to. And yeah, look out for the crazy weather and the rain. That's more than the 5 minutes I wanted, but there's a lot to talk about. So that is the end of that 5 minutes. I'm going to record another Japanese one, which is also going to go live on Friday. And come and join me and talk about these live on Sunday, every Sunday at 11 p.m. And I will see you soon. Peace. Well, that went way too long. That was like 7 minutes, but that happens. How you guys doing? You keeping up? Let's take a break and check the comments. Boom. There you are. I've got you hidden there and behind. Now, if I got this too zoomed, that doesn't make sense. Let me zoom this out a bit. But yes, Apple's trying to buy Beats. I did not mention that. That's right. You guys have picked a lot of this stuff up, man. I'm gonna race through this stuff once I'm done. I'm gonna do the Japanese one now, and now I'm gonna talk with you guys because that's what this video is all about. I'm gonna have to speed it up. But okay, I guess the travel stuff won't matter so much. I won't have to spend so much time on that in Japanese. Oh, the time stuff is fascinating. I don't know if Japanese, even if I recommend it to Japanese people, they might not be able to keep up with it. But let me do that. So anyway, yeah, the intro is a bit too long as well, wasn't it? So anyway, I'm gonna do the Japanese one. I'll try to keep it to 4 minutes to see if I can do it. And that is 21:04 now. So let's see how I go. All right. And we go. はい、こんばんは、Hikosaemonです。今週もまたこれ月曜日発表になってるんだけど、毎週日曜日11時から1時間ライブでこの日本語全部英語と日本語で話しているものなんだけど、今週の一番面白かったブログとかニュースの面白かった記事のまとめをしたいと思っていて、動画の下にあるリンクのところでフリップボードというちょっとまとめ雑誌みたいななんか作ってるんだけど、そこに興味ある記事とか全部集めてて、ぜひそれ見るように進めるんだけど、そこの自分にとっての一番面白い点をちょっと紹介したいと思って、でこう興味があったらもう直接やり取りしたいなら、もちろん動画のコメントでもいいんだけど、ベストなのは日曜日の11時からのライブで一緒にビデオ見れたらいいと思います。ちょっと紹介として、まずちょっと紹介したいのは英語なんだけどって、多少これ難しいかもしれないんだけど、非常に興味深い文化によって時間の感覚の違い。例えばアメリカ人はもう1分1分なんか進めても何でも効率考えて、なんか時間1分でも無駄しちゃいけないという考え方とか、あとドイツ人とかスイス人がもう時間きちんと守るのが一番で、なんかそして効率に使うこととか、あとなんか南ヨーロッパのなんかイタリア人とかは複数のことをなんかアラビア人とかイタリア人がものをちゃんとする、そういうタイミングじゃなくて、その関係とか完全にちゃんとすることとか、いろんなことをすることが時間を守るというよりはその時間をいろんなことで過ごすとかって、そのアメリカの効率の感覚と違いのこととか、でこの中でアジアに関してもね、中国と日本とタイの時間の感覚の違いで、これを分けると、なんか中国人がアメリカ人みたいにきちんもう早くしてるけど、でも関係作りも大事にしてて、それでちゃんと完熟することとか、あとなんかタイは完全なんかそういう仏教的ななんか根回しするとか、物を回すこととか、日本においてはそういう儀式が大事だというポイントがちゃんとその儀式的なことに時間かけて、そのことを正しくすることも充実しているという点、非常に興味深く、英語でちょっと難しいかもしれないんだけど、内容は興味深いし、誰か日本語でできればいいと思うんだけどね、なんかこれ大変面白いでおすすめの記事です。あとなんかよく知らないんだけど、コタクっていう日本文化を紹介するブログが最近このニオギャル、次もう次世代ギャルがこういうニオギャルというものになるらして、なんか今までのなんか黒国があるとかってじゃなくて、もうこのようなイメージになるらしいんだけど、本当なのかって分かんないけど、でも次の次世代ギャルはこうなるらして、多少面白い。あと面白かったのは、ちょっと外国人の日本の中の30選の一番ランキングで楽しかった旅行として行くところ、もちろんランキングのトップ10位の中、ほとんどなんか京都の方が占めてるんだけど、でも京都の宮島があるし、たくさん面白い。これかなんか東京もなんか関西も、やっぱ自分でも国内旅行を考えてると、外国人が面白いと思ったところでもね、大変参考になると思うし、あと外国人に日本どこが面白いかって見られてるかっていう観点では面白いと思います。次なんか日本の新聞とか最近日経新聞がもう情報も言ってるらしいんだけど、やっぱ次実際 iPhone だけじゃなくてなんかそういうフィットネストラッカーの時計みたいなApple Watch が の発表の情報が最近も少しずつ漏れてきてて、やっぱそういう健康管理の情報収集もすることとか、その機能が非常に面白いと思って、iOS8 もその機能、その健康追跡機能がいっぱい充実してて、そういう時計が出たらもう大変興味深いと思うし、多分買うと思うから最近ちょっとよく見つめてる。ソフトバンクこの中フランス製の20万のロボットを発表してるんだけど、まあそもそも大体こういう予感がいいんだけど、あんまり個人的に意味がわからない正直なところだけど、はい、面白いです。まあ、はい、実殺が減ってきたけど、まだ多すぎるっていうのは、まあいつもそうだけど、あと日本はやっぱそれほどなんか国際ランキングにはもっとやばい国があるんだけど、でもだからっていうわけではない。あと政治的なニュースではやっぱりなんだっけ、玉上石原がその新多様の党か何かを結成するらしくて、まあ、それは面白いところだけど、もっと面白いのはやっぱ民主党、みんなの党、維新の会の橋本、前原、なんだっけ、みんなの党、まあ、誰も気にしないんだけどね、みんなの党から。だから、でも何か一応野党の再編が今行われてて、まあこんだけ強い自民党、俺だって普通あんまり支持しないけど、安倍はまあ、大体そこまで失敗してない。前の民主党みたいにしてないから、もう順調やってると思うんだけど、でも一応野党もこんだけボロボロになった野党がちょっと再編するのは、まあ、健全なことだと思うし、これから見るところとして面白いと思います。なんかね、最近日本の記事もたくさん面白いあったんだけどね、日本人口がもうやっぱそういう出産率がもう一番よく上がってるんだけど、でもやっぱ老人が増えてるとともになんか死んでる人もすごい加速して、人口がどんどんその減少が人口減が加速してるんだよね。でこれはやっぱ自分の息子の日本の将来も心配する。まあやっぱそういう年金もらってる人もそういう生活保護住宅給なんだっけ、なんていうの、受給者がいっぱい増えてることとか、やっぱこういうこと、この傾向も続けるんだろうと。チャブダひっくり返すビデオのなんかスーパーカットっていうなんかたくさんのマッシュアップの動画を見つけて、これ多分日本人楽しいと思うんでおすすめするし、あとそういうことかな。あと一つちょっと僕が好きな英語の政治ブログが最近やっぱ安倍さんがね、たくさんなんかちょっと右翼でも極右のイメージもあるんだけど、でも確かに左翼的なことも、まあ多分そんだけ余裕あるから、例えば女性を推進したり、いろいろなんかリベラルなこともしてるんじゃないかとかって、僕もこの指摘も前からしてるんだけど、まあそんだけなんかやっぱり今余裕があるから、そういうことなんかあんまり心配せずできるから面白いと思います。ということで、まあ今週の面白いニュースたくさんあったと思うんだけど、もし興味があったらなんかコメントでも、もしくはライブの日曜日ぜひ今度ジョインして一緒に話しましょうということで、はい、今日はここまでちょっと長くなりましたね。でもぜひまた来週月曜日に、はい、お願いします。ピース。And cut that out. Boom. Okay, I'll edit those all separately, but I'm going to come back. I'm going to refresh the video. And how am I doing? Am I in sync? I'm going to try this just to resync in case I'm not in sync. Doesn't have sound. This has sound. So I'm going to go straight to using this just for a minute to see if I can make sure that the because I get paranoid about the DSLR getting out of sync. So I'm going to flip back to that now, but yes, hopefully this will fix it if there is a problem with that. And here I am. I'm looking at it, it doesn't look very smooth. I'm wondering if it's because the video is playing, it's taking some of the frames per second out. So let's go back and fix that. And let's get into the comments. So there are a lot, and that is a good thing, so thank you for those. How many are we up to now? Boom. I wish I could track this, but it says that there are... that's right. They're over here. So I can't see the number of comments right now, but that's okay. Anyway, let us... and it looks like we are now well and truly over the... This is the problem. If I go to all comments, they come out of sequence. So now we go in reverse order. Well, that's cool. So let's do that then. Let me put that there. And let me put... That doesn't work. Okay, let me put this on with the comments so that you can see, hopefully. And let me think about how to do this. Oh man, YouTube, why do you do this? Why do you make this so hard? Anyway, you can all hear me, right? Okay, I think this is working. So let's get into the comments. And I hope you can read this. One thing is, if I show them on the full thing, they cut off. This is so frustrating. You know what? I'm going to try a different approach to this. Just give me a second. I got an idea. I have a plan. Because I want to be able to read your comments better. So let me just give me a second here. But that doesn't show the comments either. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back and do this a regular way. So I have to stop that. Boom. I have to come back here. I'll put this down. Okay, let's try this. The comments are increasing, but I can't find a way to get the original comments and show them all on the screen. You know what I'll do? Boom. Oh man, this is so... There's got to be a better way to do this. YouTube, make this easier for me, please. You know what? I'm just going to read them. That's the only way it can be done. So, good to see you, Razo. Good to see you, Comic Arena. Jordan Do. The screen keeps bouncing around, but I'm going to try to read you. Oh no, but it keeps moving. Had the absolute pleasure of meeting your idol Peter Barakan yesterday. You look up to him. Do I have something I aspire? Do I have someone that I aspire to? And look at this. They keep jumping around. I can't read. I'm trying. Do I have someone that I aspire to be as far as fluency goes? Well, I used to, and Peter Barakan is kind of one of them. I used to aspire to be Saint Camus. You know, he was kind of one of the big TV celebrity gaijin guys who was on every TV show back in the 90s and the early 2000s. He got into a fight with his talent agency, and I think he got blacklisted for a time because he thought they were kind of shortchanging him, unfortunately. But he still pops up on TV every now and then, and he was super fluent, and yeah, I kind of aspired to him. I don't really have that now because frankly I'm kind of comfortable, but I certainly had that when I began, and I think it's good to have a person like that, a foreigner who's done it and who's in Japan. And you know, I think it's good to have someone like that. That's really cool that you met Peter Barakan. He's a really cool guy. You met him in Osaka, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, he is indeed a very smart guy. Does a lot of radio, does a lot of TV. He always comes on as a smart dude type role, which he is, and so that's really cool. Lacey, the article that you sent, thank you for that, on time perception. Sorry, the comments are partly cut off here, but this is the only way I can see all the comments, and I'll figure out a better way for it next week. I can make it smaller so that it fits, but then it won't be readable on the screen. So, but Lacey, excellent catch. You are a legend. If you boom. Okay, you don't do videos, but that's all cool. But you've got lots of snazzy photos, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, yes, I think it jives. The stuff about Japan, it jives with how I understand Japan. So that was pretty interesting, and the stuff about the comparisons with China and Italy, and I found it fascinating. I mean, you know, you're making generalisms, of course, but you know, people do change to some extent by perception. But yeah, no, I thought it was excellent actually, and I think the metaphor of rapping, you know, I think it's a very nice metaphor, not one that I've heard before, but the idea again of having layers of an interaction. Indeed, I mean, this is one thing I like to say to people who are studying Japanese. One of the things that makes Japanese very easy to study is that you can, you know, I'm getting really low frames per second as I'm looking at the monitor myself. Is this just me? I wonder if I can improve. Am I going to mess with this? The sound, I know the sound isn't as good, but I want to see if I can fix this. here, and see, this looks much smoother. I get the feeling it's a bit jumpy at the moment. Well, so what I'm going to say is, yeah, when you meet with Japanese people, you do have, I'm sorry, the sound I know isn't as good, but the video is smoother, so it looks better to me, so I can't hear myself. You know, I can probably, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to mix it up because it'll be out of sync. Anyway, yes, it's true, actually. And the thing which makes Japanese easy to learn, it's a pain because you have lots of formality language and lots of, you know, different levels of keigo and situational Japanese that makes no logical sense. But at the same time, those situations are completely predictable, and you'll do them over and over and over again, and you'll think to yourself, why am I doing these things again when you get better at Japanese, and, you know, why am I wasting this time? But at the same time, those make it very easy to learn Japanese because you get to practice the same situations over and over. It's like Groundhog Day, these conversations, the meshi, the sitting down, the going out, the, you know, holding the door for someone, the standing in the elevator, the sitting in the cab. You know, it's all kind of BS, but at the same time, it is important. You certainly don't want to mess it up. And when you learn it, it makes everything kind of easy. But going through those steps is really, really important. And I very much do like the layer wrapper metaphor that was used in that article about time. So I thought it was a really good article, and I'd recommend everybody go and read it. I put a link to it in the magazine. That is linked below this video. It's like the first article that pops up there, and I recommend everyone read it because it's super interesting. So thank you for that, Lacey. You are a legend. And 1884, what do I think of the new Yamanote stop? A waste of money or a sound investment? I don't know. I don't even know exactly. I think they're putting it down near Shinagawa, and they are a bit spaced apart down there. Traditionally, there's been nothing but shipping cargo terminal stuff down around Shinagawa, and they are developing it a lot, partly for the Olympics, partly they're putting in more residential stuff there. And so I think it makes sense between Hamamatsu and Shinagawa. There's some room for it now if they really build it up. So I don't really have much of an opinion. I mean, they'll add another station. It'll take a few more minutes to get round, but if it's a sign that they're really going to develop that part of Tokyo and make it more interesting, I think that's a good thing. I wonder if I switch back, if I will get more frames per second on my video, which I don't know. It's really jumpy, so I'm going to stick with this. So yes, thanks for that. And so Darth J, if you're not sure how well the Chinese internet connections and proxy will work on live streaming something, but you'll have a try. So I hope that you're here, and I hope that the Chinese are not are not blocking you. I'll try not to mention anything that, well, no, screw it. I'll probably mention things that will get this blocked if people are watching it, but I very much doubt that they have the time, although they have a lot of people there, obviously, so never underestimate that. Joseph Mulan, have I stocked up on energy drinks yet? I have not yet confirmed that Chris Gen is coming here on Wednesday, but I certainly hope so, and I will have to get a lot of energy drinks for him because he is an energetic person. And I'm going to have to use Dude a lot. I actually use Dude a lot in my internal monologue, and it comes out when I type, but I don't say it so much because I talk mostly with work people nowadays, and they would be shocked if they knew how much I think the word dude. But yes. So this is all 3 hours ago, so let's come across. Trabius H is asking, Japanese are claiming Takeshima as their island and wanting the South Koreans to return it as a foreigner. What's your view of this issue? How does Japanese people react to this issue in Japan? I'm guessing you're probably a Korean person who's interested in this. If you ask me about it, about the Takeshima issue, I don't think anyone's really passionate about it. I mean, the view in Japan, I think, is that Takeshima isn't Korea. It was annexed because no one had control of it, and Japan has legitimate rights to it. They feel that it was legitimately occupied as part of Japanese territory. They resent the fact that Korea took it by force and that they killed a lot of Japanese fishermen, and the people in Shimane Prefecture. That part of the reason they won't give up on it is because so many people were killed in the course of it getting it back. Although for Korea, I realize it's a matter of decolonization and they're getting their revenge back on Japan. Japan sticks by the legitimacy of its claim and sovereignty over Takeshima, but at the same time, everyone knows how heavily militarized it is. Remember, even a year ago, Japan was ready to sign a security, defense, intelligence sharing, and a missile shield treaty with Korea. So, you know, while they get annoyed over the Takeshima thing, I think even Ishihara, I remember reading an article with him and him saying No one in Japan, even he doesn't think that they're ever going to get it back, and everyone's kind of accepts that. And his view is that's exactly what they should do with the Senkaku Islands before China tries to grab them, is to do what South Korea has done with Takeshima Island. So it's all just silly nationalism over some silly rocks, and Korea likes to clearly use it as a screw you Japan nationalism revenge, for you colonized our whole country, well, we colonized a couple of rocks, take that Japan. And Japan hasn't let go of its claim because it thinks that it has the moral high ground when it comes to its claim on legitimacy over sovereignty of those rocks. But at the end of the day, I don't think anyone in Japan seriously thinks that Japan's ever going to get it back, nor do they think is it worth going to any trouble over. Shimane keeps it up because, again, Shimane's suffered, especially over the issue. And they issue postcards and plates and textbooks and so on, which really annoy the Koreans. But again, as far as I'm concerned, let them have their plates and textbooks, because that's all that Japan's ever going to issue about them. And I think it's one of those issues that can and should be put behind. I think everyone in Japan pretty much understands and more or less accepts. I mean, again, whenever I say what Japanese people think, there's always Japanese who don't think it, of course, whatever I say. But when Ishihara says that it's done and dusted, I think it's fair to say, yeah, of course, in principle, some people are still really annoyed with the situation, but I think it's pretty much everyone accepts that they're gone, and that's the reality. So, I don't think the Japanese are really serious about ever making a big deal over it. You know what, if I cover up the icons, maybe I can fit more of the comment here. I don't know how legible this is. I suspect it's not that legible. Let's see if I can make the font a bit bigger. Oh, that's smaller. See if I can make it a little bit more readable. But the problem is then you can't read anything. But anyway, let's go. I'm going to go and rocket through these comments because there's a lot of good ones. So yeah, it's an interesting one about Takeshima, but honestly, I think it's really not that big a deal to most Japanese people. For some, it really is, of course, but. Anyway, that is on that one. What else have we got? So that was Trabius. At least in Nihon, what are the best places to visit on Kyushu? I don't know, because I've only been to Fukuoka and Nagasaki. By reputation, I am actually planning to take a vacation next month to Mount Aso in Kumamoto Prefecture. Miyazaki has like the best surfing in Japan. Oita has fantastic onsens. Kagoshima has Amemi Oshima, which is practically the same as Okinawa. It's awesome. And Sakurajima itself, it's got an active volcano in the middle of the bay where Kagoshima Harbor is. I mean, all of Kyushu is, but Nagasaki has some of the best beaches in Japan. Kyushu's just all around. It's awesome. It's got great beaches. It's got mountains. It's got onsens. It's got great food. It's got islands. It's got, so no, Kyushu's pretty awesome. I would say get a Kyushu Shinkansen ticket and go through. Kumamoto is going through a real boom. They've got this kind of character, Kumamon, who apparently he's done very well for getting tourism into Kyushu. But yeah, I don't know. It's all going very well. You know what? I'm going to play havoc with this. Although the FPS is slow on the video, if the sound is better, I probably should go back to this better sound. So I'm going to flip again. I'm sorry, I'm always experimenting with this, but I want to get this right. It's probably all this flipping around that's caused this to not buffer so well. It's annoying, isn't it? But anyway, I'm going to flip back over. In fact, let me come here and put that there and put that there and do that and go boom, boom. And you know what? I have more room for the comments on the last one. So you know what? I'm putting it back. I'm putting it back. I'm sorry. Anyway, let's speed up. Always want to speed up. No questions, but yeah, Austin Richardson, indeed. The luxury train pictures, which I put in my Hikosaemon mag, they are awesome, and I'm looking forward to going and checking that out. It's kind of hot here at the moment. Oof. It's getting summertime and all the lights and computers are getting hot in here. What do we got? We've got 27.4. That's pretty hot. Indeed. So hopefully I'll get to meet up with some people when I'm in Brisbane, and that will be cool. Emily Louise Maitland, always good to see you. By the way, she's in Kyushu, so she's a good person to ask about Kyushu trips if you want to do that. Elisa in Japan. What are the... topic about perhaps talking about Abe's plans for public childcare to help mothers go back to work. Would it help in current Japanese culture? I think anything would help in current Japanese culture, frankly. And you know, I mean, I think it's a worthy cause. I mean, it's something where there's, again, it was one of the big electoral issues in the last election, or the one before it anyway. Just that, you know, you need dual income families to survive nowadays, but Japanese companies aren't supportive of mothers working, and you know, and it's tough, but the lead has to come from the government, and I think increasing childcare is the first step on that, because it doesn't exist in a lot of places, and hopefully that will improve. And I think it's one of the things that Abe has, well, if not perfect, he certainly got the idea right anyway. Let's go in from Clinton Fahey put 4 questions onto Facebook, which I copied into here. I told him to post them on here, but he didn't do that. But I'll put them on here because they're good topics, but I'm going to do this super fast. Name a few music festivals, if any. I'm a little bit out of date, but I'm pretty sure they still have Summer Sonic, Fuji Rock, Wired. Those were the 3 big ones. I haven't been to Summer Sonic, but I've been to Wired and to Fuji Rock. And Japan has awesome music festivals, so very worth getting into those. What's more popular, summer or winter sports? I would say definitely summer sports. I mean, baseball is unquestionably the biggest sport in Japan, so summer. What's the ultimate place to retire in Japan? I would say Okinawa. I mean, lowest cost of living, greatest life expectancy, best climate. Okinawa, absolutely. And if I could move to anywhere on Earth, where and why? If I could move Japan to anywhere on Earth, I guess if you're talking climate, well, I'm not an expert on global climates, but as I understand, the Mediterranean has a pretty good climate. Like, they don't get hurricanes, and they have a fairly moderate, sunny climate. So I think probably Japan in the middle of the Mediterranean. Maybe replace Italy with Japan. Maybe that would work. I don't know, but that's an interesting question. I've never thought of that before. Yes, Charlie Brown AU, would be cool to have a meetup in Brisbane, but we'll see. I'll work in that direction, because there are a bunch of people in Brisbane now, it seems, who it'd be cool to meet. Darth JF, does Japan have Costco? It does indeed. There are a couple of Costcos now. I don't know exactly where they are. I think there's one in like Funabashi and one in Yokohama somewhere, but you need a car to get to them basically. But I know people who go to them and swear by them, so that's all cool. So everybody coming in, these are all the comments just as the video was starting. Hello to everyone. I threw all my hellos in the beginning, so I'm going to skip all over this and go to what is stopping China from Alex Stratus, asking what is stopping China from, and the comments moved. So let me try to catch that again. What is stopping China from taking all its property back from those who took it without permission? America is stopping China from doing, and they're stopping it in Japan, and where they're not stopping it for the Philippines, because the Philippines kicked America out, and hence China's taking Philippines territory, and America is not protecting Vietnam, so they're taking Vietnamese territory, and America is protecting Japan, so they are making a nuisance of themselves around Japan, but they're not taking it. And this is actually, so there's this big debate about the constitutional revision at the moment in Japan, and particularly to allow Japan to engage in collective defense, which means participating in these big alliances for the Gulf War and so on. And a lot of people, particularly Westerners, are saying, well, Japan shouldn't be, this is a right-wing push to change the constitution and militarize Japan. Yet America's been demanding that America, for a start, it's an occupation constitution which was imposed on Japan. It was written by some students to stop Japan doing war ever again, and America's been trying ever since the Korean War to get Japan to change it, even though they wrote it and forced it on Japan. And America is openly welcoming the LDP. Even tonight, the vice leader of the LDP was on the news tonight saying that the whole thing about collective defense, which they're trying to persuade the government's partner at the moment, the Komeito party, to accept a reinterpretation of the constitution to allow constitutional collective defense. The whole idea is that Obama, is asking Japan to do it. They want Japan to pull more weight, to put more bodies into more of these fights, and to basically put more people in harm's way and eventually have them get killed. I mean, that's what it extends to. And they want Japan to do that. And there's this thing, I mean, everyone is wondering, and China's constantly testing America to see if they would really actually step up and defend Japan or its allies in this region, if China ever looked like getting into a conflict or becoming more aggressive. And I think Japan knows, and it's pretty obvious. America, it's questionable when Japan cannot dedicate troops ever to defend America, why America would politically be able to tolerate getting into a major conflict with China for Japan, right? And Japan's aware of that. They're aware that if they don't fix that situation, America could walk away and China could go and take these islands and do all this other stuff, and Japan would be on its own. So the only way that Japan has a real security, and the fact is as well that China doesn't respect international law when it comes to territory. They think that international law is based on injustice that was said about at a time that China was weakened during the Ming Dynasty or whatever in the 19th century. So they don't accept international law and they don't accept international boundaries, and they see all of this as part of a correction. They're going back and taking back by force what was taken from them by force, which it wasn't in the case of the Senkaku Islands, but they don't accept that. So the conflict is inevitable, and the only way that Japan can really avert that is really by having a one, by being able to defend itself, and two, by having a security guarantee from the US. And to do that, the first thing they've got to do is they've got to amend the Constitution. They've got to participate in collective defense, and it's a big debate at the moment. And I personally, the big problem I have with the Japanese Constitution, I'm all for pacifism and the anti-war clause and everything like that, but you know, Japan never signed up to it. America imposed it, but they immediately wanted to undo it, and they've been wanting to undo it ever since. And you know, Japan can have any constitution it wants, but I think there should be a public referendum, and the Japanese people should decide what constitution they have, because they haven't been given a choice in this before. And either way, you know, what Abe is saying, or what America is saying, or what the original constitution is, I mean, the whole idea that the current constitution, I don't think is legitimate, personally, because it was imposed. It's an occupation constitution, and it should be changed, but, you know, I don't know, it's, and I think it's worth defending. I think it's a wonderful constitution, but I think the Japanese people should have a say in it. So I don't know, but you know, in the end of the day, it's basically America. That is all that is stopping China from taking back its property, and that's why that big debate is happening right now. And it's really interesting because, you know, I want Japan to go on being pacifist, for example, but at the same time, I think I recognize the practical need, and I think it's a really legitimate position that the LDP has, that they need to step up on this. So yeah, that's a really big topic, but you know, Travius, hey, some New Zealand minties, good on you. So you got some New Zealand minties. That's a good way to start a show. Yeah, Ahmed talking about, yeah, with the small islands and maybe Taiwan, maybe effort and money will get them back. Well, Taiwan's in an interesting position, but yeah, they were kind of moving in that direction. Excluding Okinawa, of course. Well, Chinese don't exclude Okinawa, but if China is able to behave itself for long enough, money and time might do it. But when China's doing what it's doing, I mean, just this week they released a video of a Chinese fishing vessel that clearly is a falsely flagged PLA military ship running down and ramming and sinking a Vietnamese fishing boat that got too close to these islands. You know, no, you see that happening, and that is not time and money, and it'll be fine. That is, they are crazy, and you know, and they're not restricted like democratic countries are, and you know, I don't think it's that straightforward, frankly, but I hope it's all resolved peacefully, and I think the best way is honestly for China to change. I mean, we just had the 25th anniversary of Tiananmen Square massacre, and it'll be a long time after that massacre and the continued crackdown on it, but you know, I think the solution remains for democracy to take hold in China. You know, and Taiwan, Singapore, they're Hong Kong. There's perfectly good examples showing that democracy can work in China, and I hope it happens one day. I hope it happens sooner rather than later, because with this crazy lot that are running China, you know, they're gonna start wars with everyone. So yeah. What else we got? Yes, people couldn't hear anything in the very beginning. Then we got sound, but it was quiet, and I flipped around. Everyone can hear. Maybe I should boost my sound on this. Maybe people can hear me. Oh, that's probably too loud. I can see the levels going all the way up. I'm going to boost this. Okay, so now I'm catching up to the sound on the start of it. The sound through the webcam is less clear. I'm sorry about that. Let me check the... Man, but I'm starting to look like Max Headroom, and the other one, it's really buffering, really harsh on the DSLR one. I'm going to skip straight to the end and see. Are people telling me to go back? The sync is perfect on the webcam. Yeah, you know what? So I'm going to stick to the webcam. How are we doing for time? Geez, we are already on the end of the hour. So okay, I'm going to race through and see if there's any other interesting topics, because here we are. Kickstarter, Hiko for a new mic. Yeah, I think I need a new mic. That's right. Yeah, everyone's telling me I need a new mic. Okay, yes, I get it. I get it. I get it. When does the rainy season end? It ends around the end of June, and then it goes straight into stinking heat, and it's terrible. Still Soriano, first time watching a live broadcast, and great to find out more about news and politics. I'm glad you're enjoying it. That's I'm here to serve. Konbanwa from India. Poligrotto, where are you from, Poligrotto? I've got cousins in Pune that I was going to go and visit, but I was going to get over there on a work trip, which fell through unfortunately, but I hope I go there soon. Sound is way better on DSLR. Okay, so I'm going to finish the video on DSLR because everyone says the sound is way better. Okay, so the sound here is way better, right? I'm sorry about that. The levels are a bit quieter, but I'm sure the sound is better. Let's go up. If you mute the computer, you won't hear us here. And oh, Jason, congratulations on the first pair of eyeglasses. So what else we got? The island stuff is awesome. We got Kickstarter for my mic. Yes, we're going. That's right, and this is the thing, lagging and 5 frames per second. Why can't it just work? Why can't I just have 30 frames per second and in sync and good sound all at the same time? I will get there. I will get there. I promise. But I'm just looking. There is no. Yeah, it's a complete mess there at the moment. Yes, indeed. So looks like we're all talking through those topics at the moment. Indeed, the video's lagging a lot. It's all getting kind of crazy. Yeah, it's much better with the mics. I'm sorry about that, but and I'm out of time. I've got to get up early and go to Yokohama tomorrow. But I think we got through most of the topics there. There's still a lot of comments, but and I'm sorry, it's never enough time, is it? Let me just keep going through. If there's a epic clown man dance party, Viking Fitness, thank you for that. Basan, listening to me in Japanese is inspiring and dispiriting. Hey, but look, I dropped out of Japanese, man. So look, if I can do it, anyone can do it. And this idea that you have to be young, I came here when I was 23. So you know, if I can do it, anyone can do it. HMS 666, thank you for the Otsukaresama deshita. I appreciate that. Yeah. But anyway, I think we got through most of the topics there. So I'm going to come back to the main window. And as you can see, the show continues to be a work in progress with the video and the sound, and I'll try to keep figuring out what to do better. I do have to wake up early tomorrow, so I'm going to keep it to the hour. But this has been a lot of fun as usual. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. I hope you enjoy the link stuff. I read a lot of stuff, and I honestly, I only share like about less than 5% of that. And then of that, I come back and I filter it again from what I tweet, and it's another 1%. So you've really got all the best stuff. And I'm going to say this. I think that 2.5 Oyajis is the best talk show about Japan, other than this, of course, my solo show. But it is the most watched English live broadcast show, and it is the best. And I tell you what, I modestly say I don't think anyone does a better job with curation. I mean, the thing is, you have a lot of these auto-curation services, like from Twitter, that make these newspapers, and I even played around with those myself for a time. But I always wanted to be able to select the articles myself, and that's what this Flipboard thing lets you do, and I think I do it well, modestly. I'll say it. You know, and you get a good mix. You get a good mix of cultural stuff, news stuff, and frankly, if you're watching this and you like me, you like the tech stuff and the science stuff anyway. And there's lots of really awesome stuff out there. So you know, yeah, I always appreciate that you guys come here because we enjoy the same stuff. And you know, I think we share some stuff in common. I will keep trying to improve the sound issues, and I'm sorry about that, but yes, I'm still looking at, there's still good comments coming in, and it's never enough, and I'm always improving the format. But sticking to an hour, I think we have the two good content packages, and I try to, and this is why as well, when I do tweet and announce that the video's live, get your comment and your questions in early, because the earlier it is, the more likely I'm going to get it in as a topic. And I'm going to go through and look at the topics later. Oh, Kevin Crocker, you wanted me to, that's right, I just remembered, Kevin Crocker has a fund thing. I'm gonna okay, last thing before I go. He has a, where is he? Let me put the link under the video. I'm going to put a link. So Kevin, what have we got here? We've got he's trying to raise funds for seasons 5 of his series Kevin Crocker in Japan. He set up a GoFundMe site, Kevin Crocker. You can see him in the comments there. So if you want to go and support the guy, then why wouldn't you want to support the guy, right? So I'm going to put the link up on the screen in a flamboyant style. Boom. Let's make a nice big font. Boom. And that's probably too big, so let's make it smaller. Boom. And move that. And how does this work? I'm going to do GoFundMe. So I'm going to put this on here, and so you can see that is Kevin Crocker's GoFundMe. If you want to fund season 5 of his Japan series, that is where you go and do it. I'm going to put the link for this under the video right now, but go there and go and support him if you like his videos. Go check his channel as well if you're not familiar with it, and go and support him. Oh, by the way, Posey May, I don't know if she's watching tonight. I meant to shout out happy birthday to her last week. I didn't get round to it. Raz, I'm sorry about that, Raz Ogul. But yeah, she's got a channel as well. She makes I think she's from the UK. She makes interesting vids, and happy birthday belatedly, a week late to you. I'm sure there are other shout outs, but I'm gone, I'm tired, I'm unshaven, but I'll see you next week, same time. Check out the videos. You can check out the compressed videos, which will go up tomorrow in Japanese and in English, and I will put, by the way, I'm putting subtitles. I'm testing out a new subtitle feature, which is kind of cool. I got permission to use a new beta feature, and I'm going to use that to subtitle the video, so you'll be able to check out, if you want to study Japanese, you watch my Japanese video with my English subtitles below it tomorrow night. And yeah, I'll see you next weekend. So very good seeing you all as always, and stay cool, and see you next week. Boom, peace. Awkward ending. Now I have to go, oh, where did I put the, oh, now I can't even see my control panel stuff. You know what? I don't think I even showed. I don't think I even showed. Did I show that now? I'm not sure I showed that before. That's Kevin Crocker's. That's the link for his GoFundMe. So go to that. KCIJ5 is the thing. I'll put the link below the video anyway, so you can see that. And in the meantime, I'm going to go and end this video. So if you want to watch me end a video, bada boom, here's how we do it. We go into live events. And this is live now. I go into the live control room, and I press the stop streaming button. I'll say goodnight to you all now. Good night. Boom.